You'd be like... That's where you would be as Fundiar.
Cheese it!
Could I have like... Okay, cool. Thanks. Alright, you know what I do? I dash. I dash as far as I can. Straight towards the walls.
Yeah, sure.
1 second, let's see how far I can get.
Could you just imagine all of us back on the other side watching him like, oh my fucking god.
So, I can make 70 feet. So...
Yeah. You're just gonna take a few hits, that's all.
Hopefully you're not from a ballista.
I drag your token into, I don't see you.
I
Do you have
can't
35
see the
foot
token. Yeah, I'm Ward Elf.
No, I mean, you can drag your own.
Yeah, I know.
I just did it. Alright, so you're gonna run?
You know it.
Okay.
Maybe try and signal to the troops that you're not a Vestergaard soldier trying to attack them.
Well, you can't tell
yeah,
them that.
Yeah, I'm gonna like flailing my arms around, like waving them as madly as I can to the guys on top of the battlements.
Roll a 1d20.
Just playing d20.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A ballista bolt lands near your feet. It kicks up a large amount of dirt, and it almost throws you off balance, but you continue running forward. As you get closer to the walls, you notice that in between each of those like thorns, like thorn wall, are big giant trees, and in those trees are just dozens and dozens of elves. Each of them, as soon as they see you, they raise their bow and arrow and they aim it at you.
I scream out in Elvish, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot.
Roll a 1d20 again. Only two shots get loosed at you, and you hear within the trees someone else speaking in Elvish says ceasefire. Do those hit? Oh nah, they definitely don't.
Yes. Oh,
they go off to
Even
the side
both
of you.
Together.
They go off to the sides of you and just splinter uselessly into the floor.
okay.
And atop the main tree, a particular individual steps forward, and he seems quite old. He's very obviously a druid. He's got metal armor, which is extremely strange for a druid, but he's got metal armor adorned by lots and lots of leaves. And
Do I recognize this figure?
Yeah, he would have attended your vision quest. You know it's a drama leak.
Oh, nice. Sorry, what was his name?
A drama leak.
A drama leak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's him. Oh, nice.
And he just calls out, "It's Fundiar, come!" And as you turn around to just check behind you, you see a volley of arrows and ballista, a volley of arrows and ballista shots coming at you, as well as some rocks.
Oh, fuck. How tall are the battlements?
Like really fucking tall. Like,
Okay.
like so tall that the branches are like 100 feet up.
Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna call out to, a drama leak. Do you have a better way of getting inside than me climbing up the outside?
That's a lot of words.
Way for me. Do you have an easy way for me to get inside?
Yeah, a drama leak, he sort of leaps off the top of the tree, and in midair as he falls, he somersaults and transforms into a crow. And as he gets close to you, he returns to human form and lands right next to you with a deep thud. He does like the 3-point landing. And as he's kneeling down, he stands up with both hands, waving it up into the sky. And he brings just a chunk of earth that comes upwards and covers you in a concave.
Wow.
And
What
you
a bro.
just hear the pittering and pattering of arrows on the other side. A little bit of the dirt gives way to the ballista shots, and he says to you, "That brush over there, a small entrance. I'll draw that out. He points to that and just says, "Go, go."
But what about you?
Die, you fools!
He bends over yet again, and he starts to transform into yet another animal. And you see that he turns into... I don't know what name for this. You know, I'm just going to go for a bear. He turns into a huge bear. And he digs his claws underneath the bottom of the earth that he just summoned up. And you see that there's like rocks and stuff embedded in it. So he lifts it as this huge makeshift shield, and he follows you.
Wow. Wow. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So as you come through, to greet you on the other side is Zarathustra, the man that you've not seen for 30 years.
Senpai! Senpai! Where have you been?
He immediately walks up. Yeah, he immediately walks up to you and he embraces you in a hug. And he says, "Kajika, it has been many years now."
Oh, I go by a different name, but I can't even finish my sentences.
Then
Like,
you've
tears
completed
are
your
rolling
vision
down my
quest.
cheeks. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm speechless.
Then connect with me. He puts his forehead into yours and he opens his eyes. And you feel his influence reaching into your mind.
Oh, I embrace him.
As you connect with him on a spiritual level, you feel as though you leave your body. And as you leave your body, you float upwards into the sky. And standing beside you is Zarathustra, who points out to the battlefield and he says, "Look." Do you look?
Of course. I'd do anything for Senpai.
So as you do so, you look out into the battlefield and you see like just a ton of fallen people. But then you start to notice, very faintly, small fairies flying in the air. There are millions of them all over the place. You see out in the trees themselves start to move left and right. And at the base of each of the trunks, you see the spirit of a person, as though they're controlling the trees themselves. And everyone in the party eventually sees this, that the trees themselves begin to uproot themselves, like they leave the floor. That was really bad, but
Like
I was trying to do something else. No, like they actually come alive.
Oh, like tree ants.
Yeah, like they come alive into ants, and they just start eviscerating the Vestergaard troops, attacking them from the sides and the back. Troops are just torn apart, and some of them are being dragged into the hollows of the trees and just being chewed up. And your master leans in and says to you, "This is Elsyx. This is why we preserve."
Why didn't
And
they do that
Yeah.
like hours ago?
and then well, I'll get to that later. And then you see a whole bunch of birds start getting, flying in. Wolves are jumping in the fray, and Vestergaard troops are just getting eviscerated left, right, and center. The barrage of ballista arrows and trebuchets have stopped.
Guys, I think this is our chance.
Yeah, let's leg it.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, book it across the battlefield.
I'm gonna put my shield on my back, and it's gonna, so I'm not gonna get shot in the back with an arrow, and I just fucking run.
Sure. As you start running, 2 or 3 of the soldiers, they try to intercept you and they stand in front, and you are stopped at the first ballista checkpoint. If you could drag yourself back, please.
Can you ping where we are?
Oh yeah, sorry. Drag your token to that point.
Which point? Up or down?
Do you see that? The circle?
No.
Oh shit. Oh, I'm on the wrong foot. How about now?
There it
Yeah.
is. Woo! Oh, as we break into a sprint, I'm gonna cast Bless on the 3 of us.
Sweet.
You are intercepted by some troops though.
Alright, there's Bless. It's basically guidance, but for attack rolls and saving throws as well.
Awesome.
Carlius.
Yep, sorry, I'm just trying to drag myself over.
No worries. Yeah, no,
Because
that's a big miss.
I suck. Yep, there we go.
Alright, could everyone in this area roll initiative?
Yep.
What is with my rolls tonight? Suddenly feel better.
Hey man, a cleric wants to go last, alright? I've only got one more spell left, you guys.
Now I get to try out mine.
Alright. The first soldier who notices you, he leaps over the ballista, and I think that's Tobias. I can't really read the name card.
Yeah, I'm at front there.
Alright, cool. He slashes at you with his sword twice.
Uh-oh.
Do you have any wolves or
12
birds
doesn't
or
hit, right?
giants?
12 doesn't hit. Oh wait, no, meets it, beats it, so that does hit. My armor class is 12.
Player favored.
Oh, okay. Safe.
So that doesn't hit. Just only one. You get struck once. So he leaps over
I
the
collapse.
ballista. Oh no. Oh yeah, you have 11.
Fall over.
He leaps over the ballista, and with an overhand swing, he drives the sword halfway down your chest from your shoulder. And you instantly collapse.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I'm unconscious.
Jesus
I got
Christ.
you, BB, don't worry.
You see the crossbowman lift up his crossbow, and he takes aim at Carly's. Then suddenly a crow flies into his eye, and you hear the crunching of bone as it burrows deep into his brain and pops out the back of his head as he falls down dead. The crow, as it pops out the other side, transforms into another druid, and he starts messing with the other guards, the other soldiers, so that they don't join the fight here.
Well, thank you.
And
Druid?
Carlius, it is your turn.
Well, thank you, Druid. Immensely. So, going to take a shot at this guy here that I shall ping
Okay.
with a dagger.
Yep.
Actually, no, I do have my rapier with me.
Oh, cool.
Excellent. That does not hit.
No, it does not.
No. And I use my bonus action to disengage.
This
Behind.
slippery fucking road.
Yeah,
There you go, out of harm's way.
damn straight.
So as that soldier downs Tobias in one swift strike, you... I'm sorry. you dart in during the confusion and strike at him, but he sees you and lifts his shield, deflecting your blow effortlessly.
Yeah.
The next guard runs forward at Longshore with his two-handed sword raised, and he swings at you wildly, letting out a letting out a grunt.
Yeah, that hits me.
Oh.
Oh, thank God.
As he leaps at you and swings wildly, you duck out of the way and you catch a small gash across the top of your forehead.
Oh.
Oh shit, sorry. I double clicked. Tobias, could you roll your death save?
Of course. One fail.
Oh no. Alright, now we're at Longshore.
Spurt of blood.
Alright, I'm going to use Hail of Thorns.
Hold up, just before that happens, can I spiritually communicate with Zarathustra? Like, my friends need me. I need to help them.
He says, patience.
Despite Tobias seemingly dying, I feel completely at peace. I trust this man with my life.
That's so much!
I'm literally dying!
Yeah, long shot. Got that. Oh, so
So
Hail
yeah,
of Thorns.
I'm using Hail of Thorns, and I'm gonna try. Not the one who's right in front of me, otherwise it'll be a disadvantage, but the other one, like sort of
Gotcha.
duck down and shoot past him to hit his friend.
Right, gotcha. So as the oh, could you roll your attack too for me?
Yeah. Oh!
Oh!
Damn.
And then
Oh,
my
nice.
and then also my Hail of Thorns for the other guy.
So what would Hail of Thorns look like if you were to shoot it from an arrow?
So I would like to imagine that as like I draw back the arrow, it sort of like starts writhing with rose thorns and stuff like that, and then when it hits him, it just explodes out like in Prototype.
That's so
And just
Oh.
nails everyone nearby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you pull the arrow back, the shaft starts like thorns just protrude from it.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
so as the two-handed sword comes down at you and gashes the top of your forehead, you drop down into low crouch and you pull your arrow as hard as you can, imbibing it with thorns, letting go. It flies between everyone and hits that other guard in the abdomen. Thorns wrap around him and shoot out in all different directions, hitting some of the guards. I keep saying guards. Hitting some of the soldiers. You can choose your target, can't you?
All creatures within 5 feet. Let's make dexterity saving throw.
Basically your arrow turns into a bomb.
Oh no.
That's so
Oh, no. Then in that case, Tobias, you actually take a death, like a death fail.
I'm sorry.
Oh god, why?
Oh god, no.
2 failures.
What's your DC?
That's a really good question.
It's probably not higher than 19, is it?
Probably not, though.
Alright, cool. Then the other guy only takes half of your thorns damage. Yep, half of your thorns damage.
Wait, Jack, are you your second?
Yeah.
The saving failure?
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, now we're on Thorin's turn.
Maybe you should heal.
Can I burn my inspiration to regain a level 1 spell slot?
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to use Cure Wounds on Tobias. So I'm going to reach down and put my hand on his side, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on him. And
Okay.
So he rises back up with 7 health, and then I'm going to chant again, and I'm going to cast Healing Word on him, so he can get the fuck up.
I'm so sorry.
So you
Right.
run a hand along his main wound across the chest, and you see bits of flesh start to regenerate themselves and fuse together. Blood no longer spurting from it. And Tobias, you cough up blood from your mouth, and that wakes you. And as you sit up, Thorin whispers some more healing words on you, and you feel a little bit better. You heal for 14.
Alright, as this comes to a close, because I just burnt my inspiration, so I am totally tapped out. I go from being pumped to like breathing heavily, and like sweat is forming on my forehead, and I'm just like, that's all I've got, dude. You gotta fucking move right the fuck now.
Alright.
Like as I wake up and take in my surroundings and like groan and sit up, I like nod, exhausted, thankful nod to Thorin.
Well, actually, I want to use my movement to push up between Aiden and Tobias and body block for them.
Okay, that's good. You do
You
so.
know, just want to make my presence known and try and force them to attack me instead of them.
Yep. So the first guard who downed Tobias with a single sword stroke
It's me again.
uses his
Back down you go.
He throws his shield away and using his free hand grabs you by the shoulder and tries to yank you to his lines. Roll strength or dex.
Dex. Saving throw or just regular?
Regular.
Oh shit.
I need to crit for this or else. Oh, sorry. 14.
Yeah, you get thrown 10 feet in this direction.
I'm glad there's a dead dude back there. Turn the ballista and shoot him in the back!
He turns around and walks up to you. Opportunity attack.
Yeah, he gets an opportunity to attack from me. Can I use my... Oh, no, my reaction is just an attack. I was
I
gonna
assume I'm prone, right?
Yes, you are prone. I had a little thing.
Oh, I don't have any more spell slots. I've got nothing. I was gonna command him to stop moving, but I guess I'm just gonna mace him. Fuck you! No, that's amazing.
Your your mace glances off the back of his armor. He doesn't even flinch. He doesn't even notice or care. He walks up to Tobias, who's laying on the floor after rolling a few times, and he changes the grip on his sword and, in a downward strike, aims for your chest.
Out of curiosity, do my death saving throws reset?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Just in case I need it.
No, he actually gets 2 attacks and both of them are at advantage.
Okay.
So yours is 12, right? So they both hit.
Oh, cool. Am I waking? Oh God! No! Why?
Wow. Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
Unconscious.
He sort of jams the sword into your chest and then just cuts across and pulls it out. Blood spurts forth and you pass out unconscious. And we are up to Carlius.
Okay, so Carlius has had just about enough of this shit. So he approaches from this angle. That gives me an advantage on the melee attack, doesn't it?
Yes.
As sneak attack, excellent. Sneak attack with the rapier. On advantage.
Nice.
Fuck him up!
Alright, the sneak attack. Oh yeah, alright, gotcha, awesome. Cool. So you sort of, as Aiden Longshore, he's crouched down to shoot the other guy with a bow and arrow. You take that opportunity to roll off the back of Longshore, and you do like a little cartwheel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then you land on the other side, and you stab deep into the armpit of the guard, of the soldier next to you, dealing 10 points of damage.
And as my bonus action, disengage. Now I'm just checking before I do that. So, how many are we in combat with? So it's this guy, obviously.
Yep.
So
Just
we
2.
have another one here.
Just these 2.
There. Yep. Alright, sweet. I then move to a point that's here, not disengaging,
Okay.
but keeping within range. And that's my turn.
Alright, awesome. So as he's lifting his sword about to hit Longshore, you stab your rapier into his armpit. He lowers his sword for a split second as he turns and sees you flanking him, and he swings his sword back around at you.
Of course he does. And misses.
And you just casually duck your head. Tobias, would you please roll your death save?
Oh man.
We might have our first death tonight.
And surprisingly, it won't be me.
It could very well be me too. I have full health.
Alright,
That must be
then
nice.
Can I kind of just like, make a polite coughing noise to Zarathustra?
Oh god, I'm dying again!
Yeah, I was actually gonna do that right now, on the next turn. So long shot.
I guess I shoot at this guy again and hope for the best.
With the thorns.
No. I may as well go sharp shot. Go big or go home.
I believe you're blessed, by the way. Oh, nailed it.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's
Spicy.
good. So remaining within your crouching position, you shoot between Thorin's legs like a nutmeg, and you hit. Your arrow sort of curves upwards after it passes him, and it embeds itself in the back of the soldier,
All those gravity waves from in Thorin's pants.
who falls down dead.
Whew.
And Thorin.
Alright, I'm going to... Oh, hold on, wait. What's this distance looking like? 5 feet? Yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with this dude next to me. Alright, so I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that I'm flanking this dude, and I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast Searing Smite. And so my mace catches on fire.
Okay.
Let me just really quick. Alright, so I make a mace attack. And that's meant to be... I may as well just roll again and see if I crit. Oh, no, but either way, so the first one is the one that counts. Alright, so 8, and then he takes the Searing Smite. There you go. Oh, that's some fire damage, it's respectable.
Nice.
A strength save?
It's meant to be a constitution.
Oh, okay.
I'll change that now. There you go.
So as you bring your mace up over your head and you start to swing into the side of the guy's head, your mace burns a hot white embers flowing from it, from your hands into the tip of the mace. And you hear a satisfying crack, and he falls to the floor on fire. He doesn't even writhe in the pain of being on fire because he's just outright dead.
Alright, and I'm gonna do that thing where I slam my mace into my shield a couple more times. And I'm gonna use my movement to go over here and try and scoop up Tobias.
As you walk towards Tobias, a large dire wolf jumps out from with the trees. It scoops Tobias up into its mouth. Not like to eat it, but like by the cloak.
Just tears his throat out and runs off like, no!
And it starts to drag Tobias off towards the main Archerton settlement. For now, you're out of combat.
We take off!
Yeah, book it again.
so I use stealth to try and get through without being seen.
I don't
Okay.
stealth shit, I fucking run.
Tobias, roll
What
a
are you
death
even gonna
save.
hide behind?
It's open ground, no man's land.
Come on, not a fumble.
Oh,
And Kalius, roll your stealth.
yeah, I was going to say it probably wouldn't help because no man's land. I can't really hide.
That's true.
Yeah, so no point.
Do your 90-foot dash.
Actually, that's exactly what I'll be doing.
Overtake us all.
Fuck that shit. Meow.
I like to imagine that it's like a Neo Automata style dash where like the first 30 feet there's like a hover where he just flies briefly.
As he runs past, I stick my leg out.
So as the wolf has Tobias in its mouth and it's running extremely fast, the shaking causes you to bleed even more. It tears open your wound a bit more as well. But before long, you
Stop
reach...
helping!
But eventually you reach the edge of it, and the wolf actually drives, like he runs into the brush where the secret entrance is.
I follow the wolf.
And as soon as he gets in front of Esfandir's currently unconscious and not their body because you're in your spirit realm,
No, get me out of here!
he plops Tobias down to the floor and then just... And Adrama Leek walks over and he leans down. You see a faint glow in his hands that increase in intensity over time. And he eventually seals your wounds. It resets your death save. Okay, you roll a 1d4 for me, Tobias.
D4.
You'll,
Of course it's a
you'll wake up in about an hour.
Okie dokie.
We've really been flirting with death tonight.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Yes, we have. And
So, it's all
It's
Awesome.
kind of sobering after last session. Fucked up those guards.
well, we did take on a god and then an entire army.
Excuse me, I did social combat with a guard. You guys ran away.
and they did quite physical, combat with us, and some of us got completely fucked up.
Some of us.
As
Link.
Fundir, you snap back to reality as the spirit world fades away. You no longer see the fairies and you no longer see the people that are controlling the trees. All you see now is just the wolf next to you and your companions.
Tobias, what happened to you? No! I, despite already being healed, I also cast Cure Wounds.
Yeah. You
That
reach
is more
down.
enough to fully heal me.
You fully close the wound as you see little stretches of flesh start to interconnect and the wound seals itself.
Does that mean I'm conscious?
Yes. You slowly wake up, discombobulated.
I forcefully embrace you.
Ow! Yeah, I wake up, probably really disorientated after that, but I absentmindedly pat you on the back. What happened?
Save that for now. We can talk about it later.
Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep if that's alright.
Rest
And I
now.
just-
Yes.
Yeah.
A woman runs between all the soldiers up to the front lines and she just looks at the lot of you before breaking down into tears. She runs into Thorin's arms and embraces you and she cries saying, "Oh Thorin, I'm glad you're safe." It's your mum.
Holy shit! I just hug her right back. I squeeze her and pretty much lift her off her feet.
She squeezes you back, her small frame being lifted up easily. Anyone else want to do something? You guys are just in an embrace of quietness.
This is an emotional moment for a few of us. Maybe not so much for the others.
I'm just gonna drop to my hands and knees and I can't fake being composed, and I just break into it like a heavy breath and I'm just exhausted.
She drops to her knees as well, cradling your head in her arms. Then, to Esfandir's dismay, he sees off in the distance, laying on a bed of flowers, a woman.
Oh shit.
Oh.
From the distance, in front of the woman stands a little girl, and she's singing a little hymn that's familiar to you. The hymn talks about how there was once a beautiful dove that would lift a bucket up to a stream to fill water for the people. But as the years went by and the bucket filled with water over and over, the dove eventually grew old. It became too weary to carry the little bucket and had to let it go. The woman laying on the floor, her face is whiter than the lilies that she lays upon.
No! How did this... It's my wife, right?
Yep.
I sprint to her side and break down in tears. How did this happen? Tiponi, how?
She
I embrace my
continues
daughter.
singing. She continues singing despite you embracing her, and she looks down at her dead mother.
I don't understand. I left you. You were both in good health. How did this happen?
Adramalik walks up behind you and speaks. Serena's blessing is no more.
What?
We had to get everyone out of there. I know this is a painful loss to you, but you must take care of your own light, for it is what will keep you warm out in the cold night.
Who did this? Who?
I do not know, for it was too late for it when I arrived. She had died protecting Little Bucket.
I'm overwhelmed. I fall unconscious.
In this moment, Thorin, you see in the distance a man who just has such large bags under his eyes. He's obviously not slept for days. He carries a bundle of arrows, 2 bags in each hand, and he walks over. Then suddenly he drops them as he sees you. You see tears well up in his eyes as he runs through the crowd, and he joins you in an embrace between you and your mother.
I curl my arms back around him, as tight as I can, and with tears welling up in my eyes, say, "Father, I feared the worst."
I feared the worst too, my son. It is good to see your face again.
I kind of just put an arm around either one of my parents, and I just hold them both close.
As Esfandir cries in... Well, are you unconscious, like for real?
Yeah, for real.
Oh, okay. You're waken up by 2 people. You see your mother and your father standing over you. She, with her stern expression, tries not to show any emotion, but you know deep down she's hurting. And your father steps into your view. Typically he has a very happy smile, he's a very jovial kind of person, but today he's not. He has just sadness in his eyes. He unstrings a bow from his back and he holds it out in front of you. You see that it is made out of a strange wood material that you've never seen before, and there's only a small spot where your hand can hold it, and they have thorns all over the place. It has your name carved down one side, and he says, "She had wanted you to have this. She crafted it with me, with you in mind, to protect you on your journeys. Take it." It also has Huyana written at the bottom as well. Wild dove.
Oh. I can't hold the tears in. I just can't. I take it from them. Barely able to hold it.
And Thorin, your father stands up and says, "I know that you want to travel up north. I know that you have great things in mind and you want to adventure. I have not worked with metal for many years, so I could not complete this in time, but please, take this." He hands you a large maul, one-handed, and in the maul, the middle of it is hollowed out, and he explains, "Once you complete this, you'll be able to channel your energy into it much more easily, as there is room for the arcane to improve this weapon, but I have not been able to finish it for I don't have the materials."
I kneel down and I raise both hands to take it from him.
He clasps your shoulder as he puts it into your hands. "I know you're talented. You'll be able to complete this."
Thank you for having faith in me, Father. I will live up to your expectations, I swear it.
He gives you a stern nod as he runs back to the 2 bags that he dropped, and he starts handing out arrows to the many soldiers.
I would like to go and help him.
You help him.
Can I ask my mother and father? What happened? What did they see? What happened to Serena's blessing?
Your mother speaks up first as your father sort of goes over to Little Bucket and comforts her. She stops singing now, and in the father's arms she cries. Your mother says to you, "We had thought that Vestergaard broke the treaties and attacked us, but there was something much more sinister. Many of our people died overnight, and we don't even know the cause. We've never seen anything like this. When we awoke, many of us started screaming because our loved ones were reduced to nothing but just charred remains. Yet there was no fire, black charred remains. She shudders at the thought, but she tries to maintain her stern expression.
I don't understand. How could this happen?
Zarathustra, the powerful mage, eventually walks up. She puts a hand on your mother's shoulder and says, "It's okay." He explains to you, "We've tried to evacuate everyone from Serena's Blessing, but there weren't enough ships. Some didn't make it back, some had to go to Barenbark. But those who had to await us at Barenbark for transportation, well, we don't know where they are anymore."
How did she go? Guyana.
The story that I heard was, and Adramalik stands in front of him and speaks over him, arrows to the back. She had covered for Tiffany.
Anger wells up in my heart. Arrows? From whom?
We don't know. They seem like Elsyx arrows, but I don't think anyone would do such a thing, especially not in Serena's Blessing. It's sacred ground, and to do such a thing is monstrous.
How long ago was this?
Ever since the siege began, so he thinks for a moment. Less than a week.
I mutter a prayer under my breath to my deceased wife. May Kyra guide your arrow. And I swear an oath that I will find who did this to her.
You do so. Some of the soldiers, they start to take up the front lines, and Zarathustra, Adramalik, the main important people, even Emily, Ward, they all start to go back to tending their own business, healing the wounded, tending to other people who have passed away in this fight.
I try and comfort Little Bucket as best I can.
She seems quite stern now. It's as if she's repressing all the emotion that she feels, and she seems quite cold. Just emotionally cold. Tears have stopped streaming down.
Alright. Is the fight still going on?
Yep. You can still hear the clash of battle in the distance.
Alright. I'll painfully excuse myself from my family, for the battle is still not over. There's still work to be done.
They excuse you, and they tend to their things. Your father and mother crouch down over Tiffany and take her away.
Am I close enough to hear this?
Yep.
I want to put a hand on Esfindir's shoulder. And I'll say I will pray to Korvath every night that he may offer you guidance.
I thank you and wipe away my last few tears.
I've only known you for a short time, Esfindir, but I will be there behind you every step of the way.
I appreciate that, Thorin. I truly do.
Alright, I would like to start ushering in the my party and my parents back away from the wall and towards the city proper.
You do so. Your mother looks at you and says, "I must remain and help the sick and wounded." Your father speaks, "I also need to tend to the soldiers."
Please, mother, do not put yourself in harm's way. I would not be able to bear it if anything were to happen to you.
These are my people, my son. I cannot let them die. I have already failed once. And she points to, like, the several people that are dead.
I'm gonna reach up instinctively and hold my holy symbol, and I'll say, then I'll join you. I'll be here with you on the front lines.
It would be an honor, having not seen you for so long, my son. She grabs your hand and sort of squeezes it. and the two of you head off healing the wounded and sick.
Alright.
Alright.
What was that sad song from? It sounded so familiar.
I would also like to know where it's from. It almost sounded very, like Neo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Oh, I know.
That's some
I know
interesting
this.
album art.
Yeah,
This
no.
is from a visual novel.
So yeah, I think
Because that song made that fucking scene.
Alright, I'm going to just dedicate as much time as I'm able to handle to healing the troops and supplying them with armor and weapons.
I'm gonna try and go get some healing myself.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
I'm unconscious.
I'm filled with anger at this point, more than anything. I take to the battlements with my newfound dedicated bow from my deceased wife.
Oh yeah, I gotta
Hi.
give you guys your details on your items. But yeah, continue, sorry.
I kill every single Vestergaardian soldier I can see.
Yeah, anyone who crosses into no man's land, you take a shot at. You find that the bow is extremely supple, and it seems to... You feel as though there's a hidden potential to it, but you haven't really connected with it just yet, seeing as it's so new. But it looses arrows effortlessly.
It'll always remind me of my wife. I wonder, does it perhaps contain a fragment of her? Her spirit?
It could.
I'll spend time investigating this further.
Alright. I think this is a good stopping point.
Yep.
Yeah. That was pretty heavy.
It was good, I really liked that.
And like Jacob said, the soundtrack really made it that much more
Yeah.
heavy. So, well done with the soundtrack choice.
Yeah, it would not have been the same without that music.
No
Thanks.
way.
It made what might have been like a really awkward scene into like something that was actually
Yeah.
quite powerful.
And it actually flowed really well too. So,
That's good to hear.
very much kudos for that.
Thank you.
Well, goddamn.
That was awesome.
I think I'm gonna let all of you guys take the lead next time.
It's sort of been a series of bad decisions up to
I think it was bad decisions, but it was also some very, very unlucky rolls in a lot of cases.
I think it all just kind of added to the narrative. Like it all, even though we got like seriously fucked at the start, it kind of just. And serious props to you, West, for being able to work it into that direction, being able to not kill us and not because you didn't fudge rolls and you also didn't kill us, and you were able to in a very organic way push us towards going here and funneling us towards this scene. It was really
Awesome.
good. It was awesome. Serious props to you, man. That was
Thanks.
actually fantastic.
Yeah, this was a fantastic session.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Now, when you finally drop the ball, we're all just be like, "What the fuck, man? What happened?"
So wrong. How could you treat us like this?
Anyway, I
Anyway,
might
guys.
actually hit the sack.
Oh, look at that great minds. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, to be honest. Yeah. But very good session, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that was excellent. Nicely
Yeah.
done,
Fantastic
Mr. Dungeon
session.
Master.
Honestly, I would
Thanks.
like to offer a round of applause to Wes. Just fantastic job.
Awesome. Good to hear.
It really went well, so thank you.
All good, man. Glad you enjoyed
And
it.
absolutely. And I hope you all have a good night, eh?
Yeah, same to you.
Mhm.
Yep.
See you guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
Uh,